It's up to you.
The wireless mic does one thing for us, which I don't think
Yes,
is...
go get it.
We need another variable in this situation. Let's go get a new technology that we've never used.
Yeah, like a microphone. Let's do
We have
something
a perfectly
Let's do
good
something crazy. Well, I just think it's nice if we can get an microphone.
I wish you could have heard him 2 days ago. I just wish.
Will you guys be able to
That's what I
implement that
said.
now?
Can we go? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Have you checked the body?
So you're gonna start without the microphone.
Yeah. If he has time and we want to fool around with him.
Hello, yes. I'm Matt Schultz. I'm the CEO of Immusoft.
Okay.
You good? Good?
That's just there.
So, quiet on set.
Wait 1 second. Do you want me to use my card and expense it? Or do you want to use your card? How does that work? Doesn't matter. Break a leg.
Are we ready, Kevin? We, you guys go out the side door? Did you turn off the fan? Okay, so introduction on your name, your title, and what is it the heck you do, Matthew?
All right. I'm Matthew Schultz. I'm the CEO and founder of Immusoft, and we're a gene therapy company based in Seattle that turns patient cells into drug factories. So basically, instead of taking a drug, making a drug and injecting it, we take out some of your cells, modify them, and put them back.
Good. So that's cool. So, very good.
So
Let's do it again. So remember, we can edit this. So
Yeah.
Make a mistake if you go, I'm stopping, I'm going to say it again. You can do all that stuff as long as you take like a second in between time so we can just get the click.
Yeah.
So you're going to be fine.
One quick tip. You're a very fast talker, but you're crisp. If you think about it, just a slower sort of cadence might, we can slow it down too, but then it'll alter the tone of your voice.
Get back.
Okay. And so, does it look weird if I'm looking like up? Your eyes are above the camera. Like, does it matter like
No,
at the
I think
angle?
it's going to be fine.
Okay.
Especially if he does it the whole
Do you want
time.
him to look at me or do you want him to look at the camera?
Whatever's more comfortable for you, but just do that the whole time.
Okay. All right.
Which is more comfortable?
I'll look at. It's easier to look at a
Do you have a
person than the
dialogue?
camera. Yeah.
Okay,
For me,
so
but-
once again, 1, 2, 3, let's introduce yourself and take a deep breath and then talk slow and distinct.
All right. I'm Matthew Schultz. I'm the CEO of Immusoft. We're a gene therapy company based in Seattle, Washington, and we turn patient cells into drug factories. So basically, instead of producing a drug and injecting it, we take the patient cells out, give them new instructions, and then put them back in the body where they'll produce the treatment on their own for many years.
Stop. Good. So, we make patient cells into drug factories. Let me explain what I mean by a drug factory and let me explain what I mean by that.
Okay.
A quick note too, I feel like you gesticulate a lot when you speak and it looks like you're kind of holding yourself
I know.
back.
Just
Yeah.
be a normal
Yeah,
hot
just
shit.
be
Like,
natural.
don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, you can like see that you want to.
I know. I try to keep them.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're good. I mean, just be your normal self.
All right.
We're having this conversation.
Okay.
So go again and just say you're just doing the intro.
Yeah.
But then again, just say, and by factory, let me tell you what
Yeah.
I mean. Okay.
All right. So I'm Matt Schultz. I'm the CEO of Immusoft. We're a gene therapy company based in Seattle, and we turn patient cells into drug factories. And what I mean by that is instead of producing a treatment and injecting it into a patient, we take their cells out, give the cells new instructions on how to make that treatment, and then put them back in their body where they'll produce it for many years.
All cells in the human body are protein factories. They produce structural components of various tissues as well as a vast array of proteins that circulate throughout the body, which are involved in homeostasis that keeps the body disease-free, or which engage in the immune system. So explain a little bit about proteins in the body and homeostasis.
Yeah, so basically every cell in your body is a drug factory, and it produces all the building blocks of life, so all the proteins necessary for you to survive. And it produces these with genetic instructions. And so we're able to manipulate these instructions to make them produce new enzymes. So in some cases, patients have defective genes that prevent them from producing something they need, an enzyme or a protein, and so we'll give them instructions to produce what's missing. In other cases, like for HIV, for example, we give them instructions to produce powerful antibodies that are capable of binding to the virus, even though it tries to escape.
Wow, awesome.
Can we just do it one more time as a backup?
Yeah, so that was
Awesome.
fabulous. So say what you just said again, and if you, I think you're better.
Yeah, I keep
feel
drifting
better
out of the
when you
camera.
look into I think you're doing better when you look into the camera.
Okay.
I think it's easier for you, so just look into the camera.
Okay.
But say what you just said.
Also, something Scott was saying too, keep looking at the camera for a couple seconds after you're done, as opposed to looking away right away, because we might have a little bit after you
Yeah, so when you're
Oh.
done, just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then
Yeah.
just look away.
Okay.
Do you want me to clue you in again, or do you want me to let you go?
No, I can, we'll see.
Proteins
Yeah,
and
right.
homeostasis and keeping a balance and new instructions to fight.
Yep.
Got it? Keep
Yeah.
proteins. Got it.
So the cells in your body are like drug factories, and they produce all of the building blocks of life, the proteins and the enzymes needed to survive. But in some cases, patients are lacking these enzymes or they have a defective copy. And so we put the correct instructions back, giving them the ability to produce what was missing. In other cases, like infectious diseases such as HIV, we can actually give them the ability to make new, more powerful antibodies that are capable of binding to the virus in a way that it can't escape. I still looked
That
away at
was
the end
so
of
good.
that.
Here we go again. Researchers have focused for several decades on addressing some of these diseases by developing gene therapy approaches with the objective of engineering key cell types to produce needed protein factor by inserting a copy of the gene. However, the challenge has been to develop effective ways to deliver these genes safely and effectively. Engineered viruses have been the vehicle choice for many years, but they require significant modification. It's difficult to produce the quantities that make therapeutic sense and have payload limitations depending on the virus and come with real perceived safety issues. The status quo, the challenge of the status quo and how you changed it.
So people have been working on gene therapy for years by modifying the cells with things like a virus, or they would attempt to fix broken genes. Oh, can I stop that?
5, 4, 3, 2, you're on.
So people have been working on gene therapies for years now, typically taking patient cells out and modifying them with a virus to add additional functionality. But this comes with a lot of challenges. Many of them worked with stem cells, which can have unpredictable results when they get put back in the body. Also, viruses are quite expensive to produce, and they're not always safe, or they have questionable safety issues. Damn it.
That's cool, keep on going, you're fine. Just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and go back on it. So you're saying the problem with viruses are?
The problem with viruses are that they're very expensive to produce, and
So the problem with viruses are they're super expensive to produce, and then the binding properties, the longevity of the life, all of the things that happen have been a real challenge, right?
Yeah.
So what are the challenges
Yeah.
with viruses?
So the challenges with viruses are that they're quite expensive to produce, and in the case of things like AAV viruses that are injected directly into the patient, they elicit an immune response that limits how many times they can be used. Typically, you can only inject one of these treatments once, and also they tend to have limited payload capacities, so the size of the gene that you can administer is limited.
Oh, wow, that was great. It's so succinct. I mean, it's like a different guy. Did you put a spell on that? Immusoft is on the verge of changing all of that with a novel approach to gene therapy. They are in the early stage company. So you talked about the problem, which is the existing problem. What's the existing problem today that you solved? It's people treat things with viruses and other ways.
It's non-viral, and it's so. Immusoft's approach is. So Immusoft addresses Immusoft has taken a different approach. Instead of using a virus, we use a non-viral vector called a transposon, which is much cheaper to produce and administer. Also, we modify cells that are already mature. So instead of taking a stem cell that can differentiate and turn into many different kinds of child cells, we will modify an immune cell circulating in the blood. And these cells are already specialized factory cells. So they're already on a course to do what we want them to do. We're just giving them instructions and taking advantage of that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's do this again. So the state of the state is for the last 20 years have been people try and hook viruses onto cells and put them back in the body and do things that has limited life expectancy, or limited cell life, and limited payload. And then you guys have come in with this other thing where you're putting instructions in, which just completely changed the arena, completely changed the playing field, because none of those things matter because the instructions are in the cells, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So traditionally, when using viruses,
Explain the traditional
Yeah.
approach of viruses and why people are into them.
yeah.
Or were into them.
So historically, people have used viruses in gene therapy to modify cells. And although these were effective to a certain degree, they have limitations. The virus, for one, is quite expensive to produce and deliver. And if you're injecting the virus, it has adverse immune responses. With a technology like ours, we're able to get rid of the virus entirely. And this drops the cost of a treatment drastically and allows us to scale up at a much greater level than a viral-based treatment can. Furthermore, we're putting it into a cell that's already a specialized factory cell. And so the cell's already naturally doing what we want it to do. We're hijacking one of the most powerful protein-producing cells in the body to make useful treatments.
Now we're talking about factory cells and cells. Let me explain the factory cell and a little bit about the immune cells and a little bit about the B cells that makes our technology possible.
Yeah. So basically, every cell in your body is a factory that makes proteins of some sort. But a subset of these cells are your immune cells, your white blood cells, and B cells in particular. And these cells' primary purpose is to protect you from disease. B cells in particular produce antibodies. And as they mature, they become a plasma cell, which is probably one of the best factory cells in the entire body. It's able to produce,
Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. So one of the best cells in the body is the...
One of the most powerful protein-producing cells in the entire body is a plasma cell. This is a special kind of immune cell that's normal job in life is to produce antibodies. And we've effectively hijacked this cell to produce other useful treatments by modifying the instructions that we put inside of it.
That's great, saving
That
that.
is awesome.
And then what happens when you... So this cell is one that usually lives in the marrow, the bone marrow, and is an essential ingredient in doing a whole bunch of cool things in your body. And it's just this base body technology that we're able to throw some instructions in, and all of a sudden we can completely integrate into fighting disease, etc., right?
Yeah. So these cells are natural.
Plasma cells.
Yeah. So plasma cells are the body's primary factory cell for producing antibodies, and they primarily persist in the bone marrow. In fact, these cells are why, if you take the blood from an 80-year-old, you can detect antibodies against smallpox. These cells have been around for decades, literally producing this antibody from the day they were challenged by that virus or the vaccine. And so we're repurposing this to produce long-lived therapeutics.
Bang.
And also, when you mention we, just try to say in the song.
Yeah? You want to do it one more time?
Yes.
And so anytime
Yeah.
you say, we say immune
Yeah.
cells. So you're really getting it down. So you're saying, so we've got these plasma cells, and these plasma cells are found in bone marrow, and the plasma cells are this, what are they? They're super
Antibody factories, yeah.
okay.
So plasma cells are these long-lived antibody-producing cells that primarily live in the bone marrow. Immusoft is hijacking this system to produce useful therapeutics.
In which way? What do you do to the plasma cells to make them useful therapeutics?
So Immusoft is hijacking these cells to produce useful therapeutics by changing their genetic instructions. So,
Yeah, you're there, so, and by changing by not changing, by add,
Yeah.
are you changing the genetic structure?
We're adding genetic instructions typically.
So, and what does that enable to do? It
Yeah.
enables them to generate proteins that can fight MSP1 or
Yeah.
IHIV, or, so let's go with that. Do you need a break for a second? You want to take a?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have you need a cup of coffee or something?
Yeah, let me go grab a coffee.
Put sugar in it. It's